Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. Of course, it's time for a shop tour, but this week it's a little spookier than usual, I guess, because here we are on Halloween. So, hope you guys have a great Halloween. I'm sure some of you have kids that actually go trick-or-treating. My kids are now in their 20s, so I don't have to do that anymore. So, like I said, we had our Halloween party last weekend, so it was the adults' Halloween. And if my voice sounds a little off, it's because I may still be recovering from what was an epic Halloween party. So next year, some of you will probably have to put it on your calendar and make it. So anyway, shop tour time. We actually have storms rolling into Topeka this afternoon, and a good chance of rain over the next week, which we need desperately. So we'll see what happens. Okay, shop tour time. What I'm working on the bench here. So this is that close ratio gear set from Quaife that you can put into a stock Miata or RX-7 transmission. Just finishing this one up. This is for Fred McConnell's F Production Miata. I'm going to get this battened up. You can see I've got all of the cases clean and restored, ready to go together. Just finished the gear stack. And just need to finish up the backside of fifth gear with the bearings. We're going to be looking good. So what have I been doing over the last week? We'll just kind of go through our bit by bit. Did end up finishing the 1.6 complete restoration job on a 1.6 Miata differential. So these are so old now that they're, they get corroded and they get rusty, and so I spend a bunch of time, and you can see I've got all the flanges painted and the housing restored and everything. He'll be by this morning to pick this up at some point, but we're looking really good on that. And then, okay, so Steven's car, nothing's happened besides finishing up a couple of the new pieces for the engine out to the machine shop, but still waiting on our shocks. So we had a little bit of a delay with the top hats. Should have them next week. We'll see how that goes. You know how supplier issues can be, but not too bad. Okay, Integra update. Look, got brake pads in. So got enough brake pads here to last us for a while. We got 3 sets of front, 2 sets of rears, Carbotech pads. Got the stickers off the nose, so now I just need to talk to John about what it is I need to do to prep for some of our body damage fixes, and we'll just kind of go from there. But you can see after last week's shop tour, got a nice new air filter sitting right here. So we got our air filter installed, looking good there. On Cameron's car, the big update is the fact that the head gasket came in. Pretty exciting. So now that this is in, I just need to get to it, right? It's not going to take super long, but I have to keep all these cars rolling, and the thing I love about the fall is I can chip away at some of these cars, because most of them aren't going racing except for Ken. For quite a few months. So I've got some time. I'm going to keep chipping away on things. Just like this. So Bill Miller's car. You can see I've got some of the bits and pieces off underneath. That's because the differential is not underneath there. So the diff is out, completely apart, and just got some parts on order. So found a couple little issues with that, but took care of the rock situation in the intake manifold and the motor. No problems, all back together, runs perfect, no worries. We're good, Bill, thankfully. Okay, Mazda 2, it's our last thing. A little bit of a shorter shop tour this week because I've been actually working on some motor bits and pieces, which takes a few hours, and so you don't always see a lot of action in the shop every single week, but obviously chipping away here as well. So, decided not to mess with the door. So I've got some feelers out on if I can find another door. So we'll see how that comes to fruition. But as it turns out, Mazda does not have the rocker piece that I need. So here I am cutting out the rocker. So this stuff is really, this rocker, it's no wonder it smashed in so easy, right? This thing it's pretty light duty. There's not a lot of heavy metal here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out smoothly I'll probably take this fender off and work on making my own rocker. There's just no other option that I've seen, unless any of you that are watching today have a junk Mazda 2 sitting in your backyard and you can sawzall me out this rocker. So here's my plea for the day. If I don't get a rocker somehow, some way from somebody, I'm going to make one. How am I going to do that? A flat piece of steel that I hand bend myself and tack it in. Paint in my rear. So I'm hoping I don't have to do that, but I wanted to see what kind of damage I had underneath. Fortunately, there's this big cavity here, so I did not get damage on the underside except for right here where the door sill is. But I think I can pull this out and beat this back down and be okay. If I do get someone that has a rocker, what I'll probably do is cut it all the way up to the bottom of the door line and zip it in right here and pull this down and tack weld one in. And you know how much I like bodywork, right? So tack it in, grind the welds down, seam it over, paint it up. We'll see how it goes. So that's kind of where we're at on the Mazda 2, except for, as you can see, there's no shocks under the car. So we'll talk about what my shock situation is going to be for next season. I've got a couple things up my sleeve. We will see how that pans out. But always developing, right? So just because you win a championship or just because you're on the podium at the runoffs doesn't mean that your development is over. There's other guys in their shops working just as hard or probably harder than you. That's kind of what keeps me motivated. The fact that I know that the VW Mafia is out there somewhere and they are working on stuff. I know they are. And you know what else? I have to work harder than them because there's like 8 of those guys that are all working together against me. So I have to work extra hard to keep my car up front, and really looking forward to next year and racing with those guys. I really had a good time racing in H Production this year, and getting to know the H Production guys better. I knew most of them, but it's a little different when you race against guys. You get a little more camaraderie, and you learn more about each other and how they race and all of that. So looking forward to next season. But here we are. It's October 31st. It's almost November. You know how this goes. So you get slowed down in November because of the holidays, and you get slowed down in December. Next thing you know, it's January. I'm going to try to go racing in March, so I got to keep pushing on this project. So keep working on your cars is the point of my ramble. So that's the whole deal, right? So keep after it. Appreciate you guys watching like always. Have a great rest of your week. If you've got some of these storms rolling through, be safe, and I'll see you next week. Take care.